Today I want to show you how to do some really cool looking, really detailed type of lettering that we can achieve a lot quicker and easier than trying to tediously go in by hand with a brush and paint in every little detail with this. Especially depending on the kind of font that a client might request. Doing that all by hand, that can be a very long and tedious way, and it's going to be even harder to try and get the kind of fades and details and all the pearl and stuff like that in here that we've got with this lettering. So I hope you are doing really great in life with everything you're doing. My name is Eric Bossert, and I've taught a lot of classes over the years. A lot of students have come to me and wanted to try and learn this technique by hand with just hand lettering from maybe something they've seen online, and you should definitely be able to do that. You're not always going to be able to use a vinyl cutter like with what I've done here, and the situations that you're going to be painting with, you definitely want to have that in your tools to be able to go in and do this brushed on by hand, especially for something just quick and smaller. That's going to be probably a quicker and easier option. But what I've done here is I've used a vinyl cutter, and one of the most convenient and easiest ones I think to learn is just the Cricut machine. And so I've gone in and I'm going to be doing a video really soon here on how to use the Cricut, and especially in a way with things that are probably going to be the most convenient, I think, is lettering. They have such precise little corners on every little bit of them, and it's especially, like I said, all these different kinds of font that you can use. The Cricut is going to make it so you can just get your font in there, get it sized to how you want it, and then it's going to cut it out and do all the work for you, or you can move on and be doing something else. And so what I've done is had the Cricut go ahead and cut it out of the vinyl, and I'm going to even be showing you how to do your own custom fonts to where you can draw them up yourself and have the Cricut cut it out of vinyl for you. So where we're at right now is I've had the Cricut cutter cut out these vinyl letters, kind of a Southwestern style lettering, and I've placed all the font exactly where I need it, and then just gone in and masked off everything else with some good masking tape. And the silver that you're seeing is a common one I use pretty much every time, is the Orion Max Silver from House of Color. And I'm also using the kind of shading that I'm using is one that I use pretty often. It's the same one I used with some of the other skull videos. It's basically just a transparent black with a little bit of root beer in it. And I have these in smaller quantities available on my website at customairbrushart.com. And so it's just a really good shadow kind of mixture that makes it so it's not just solid black. Sometimes with the solid black, it can end up having kind of a dirty, speckled kind of look to it. So this keeps it good and transparent. And so once we've got the silver laid out, what I'm doing here is I'm going around the very outside of each letter, and on the inside too, like you can see here on the inside of this R and even the A here, it has those center points that are cut out that you're going to have to go over too, obviously. And I'm really aiming right at the edge of the tape. I'm trying to keep the spray pattern out of the inside of the letter and just the edge there. And then, so the next step that we're doing here is I'm taking some pearl and I'm lining it up with those little spikes, those little points that go about halfway up each letter. And I'm spraying some of that pearl in there so this can kind of disappear from certain angles, and the silver will kind of wash it out, and then other angles it'll come back and create that reflection kind of look. And then, so the next step after that, what you're seeing here, is I'm taking just some plain, just root beer by itself with no black, so it's a little more brown root beerish looking, and I'm going along just the bottom edge of all of these words and all the letters. So again, I'm trying not to spray right directly on the letter. I'm kind of just spraying right at the edge of the tape that encompasses each letter, but just on the bottom. And I was using a card there a second ago, you could see, because I want to keep that brown from hitting the top part of the letter. And you can see right here what I'm going to do on the top part is go in with just a really light blue color, just really kind of almost just kind of a baby blue, but bringing the airbrush back a little bit, making it a really light mixture, and going in to where you can tell it's there, but you almost can't even really see it. And especially from different angles, it's going to almost completely disappear with the silver and the pearl and everything. And so this little radio flyer wagon here is obviously it was painted for someone that unfortunately passed away. But in the last video, I talked about some of these things that we can be painting that will be reoccurring revenue. If you watch that last video with the hockey mask, I go into quite a bit of detail and a lot of really good tactics that you can take with your business to put yourself in direct contact with people that need stuff like the hockey mask or like what we're looking at here, and letting people know that you exist, that you're an artist that does good work, and you're there and available to be able to help them do some of these things. And especially somebody like this that had someone pass away, this can be something, a really good thing for someone in that situation to kind of ease some of that, what's going on with them, and if anything, just kind of diverts their attention away from that and gives them something else to kind of have their mind on rather than maybe what had happened. So this is another really good thing. This is something that's I've had reoccurring in my business for quite some time. I've had a lot of repetitive, repeating rather, customers that have brought stuff into, with memorial pieces like this. And the next video I'm going to be doing is something similar too. So you'll see, even more some of the proof there. So, I obviously never want to have a customer bring me this kind of item to paint. But unfortunately, it is something that has kind of been, pretty consistent over the years, unfortunately. So just like with the hockey mask, how I mentioned to, have some sample artwork, have some of the credentials and the things filled out online so you can be able to contact and communicate with people that may need some of this work done. You can go right to like a funeral home, places that offer caskets, things like that, and just show them, same kind of tactic that I talked about in the hockey mask video. All the same steps that you would take with communicating what you do for a place like this that might be able to utilize your business and your services. So I think we got a pretty good results here. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any questions too, so I can make sure to get those answered and get anything like that sorted out that you're curious about or not sure of. And I went over it. All the tape lines and vinyl cuts turned out really clean. All the lines and really no imperfections. I did some brush work with the scrolling and a little bit of gold there in some areas, and got a really good spray out with my clear coat. And yeah, the starburst there is that same kind of effect that I talked about in the hockey mask that I did over the cards there. So a lot of cool little effects and stuff on here. And just to give you a little bit of insight with how this worked, I ended up charging him $900 to do this. And when he picked it up, he actually gave me an extra $150, which was really cool of him. So that's always awesome when that happens. But I've made more money doing this in the past 10 years, doing this career, starting this business, than I've made, far more money than any job that I worked an hourly job to get paid, before that. And so if you're in a position where you're working a job that maybe you're not really into and you would like to be doing this, I'm offering some free consultations. You can go to my website, customairbushart.com, book a free consultation, and I really tailor these classes to each individual as to where you're at with your artwork and where we want to get you to and how we can start making those big improvements with everything. So take a look at my website, customairbushart.com, on the services page. I also have some really cool stencils and some paints and other supplies on there that you'll be able to use to go along with some of these videos. And I also have some t-shirts coming out, like you can see on this design here that I've been working on that turned out really cool. So let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.